Jusant is a song about being in a good place in your life, enjoying life, thriving even, and yet because of past traumas, things you've been through in the past hurts, past worries, you kind of expect that this enjoyment of life is fleeting, that something's going to go wrong. This is really exemplified by the chorus of the song. How can I be drowning when I'm 30,000 feet above sea level? The view from here is astounding, and yet I know that this won't always be special. It sort of speaks to you're soaring, and yet even though it's low tide, which is what Jusant means, by the way, it's a French term meaning low tide or ebb tide, even those waves are far beneath you now, there's a cycle to the tides, I suppose, and you might expect as such for life, and indeed that can often be the case, that those waves are eventually going to rise and come up to meet you and threaten to displace all of this happiness that you've been enjoying, or even just bring distaste to the things that you are enjoying, making it so that you can't enjoy them anymore. They won't always be special. Maybe you get bored, or maybe your interests change, or you just get so in your head that you can't allow yourself to enjoy these things. If we go into some of the lyrics of the verses, though, we can sort of peel back the layers more into this sort of concept. So the opening line, the tide once so high, receding now, relieved sigh, I wonder how I let it overpower, when all now is a cleansing shower, I let it all die, I let it all die. So yeah, you may have just freshly gone through something and you feel like you're finally on the other side of it, and in fact, now that you are on the other side of it, it doesn't seem as big as what it was before. You're wondering, how did it end up imposing on your life so much? And now everything feels fresh, everything feels rejuvenating, and again, you're in a good place in your life. Now the worst is all behind me, and the darkness cannot find me, nor the waves rewind me, yet I remind me that all behind me, it's all in my mind. See, it goes on to the next line. So much of this stuff that afflicts us, it's caused by real world things, but we definitely can have a tendency to inflate them in our minds, and that's part of the reason why when you are past it, it's like, wow, it wasn't really that big, but they are in the moment. And I guess a mind that has gone through that sort of thing, you're going to feel prone to succumbing to that sort of thing again. But I guess you're trying to speak it out into the universe that, no, you're not going to let that happen. You're not going to let the waves rewind you. You're not going to let them get to you and sort of pull you back to that place. I hate how cloudy it is up here. What can't be seen is what I fear. It sort of speaks to the unpredictability of life. No matter how good things may seem, you can only see so far into the future. And that's only with regards to any plans or things that you're working towards. Again, anything could happen, and then those plans, anything could happen to sort of derail them. It also might not, but it's scary to not know one way or the other. The second verse starts out with the lines, the tide outstretched wings, no Daedalus. The sun brings the heat to enfeeble us, while waves beneath, they eke out trust to fly. They let me just fly. So the tide outstretched wings, it sort of speaks to the effort required to maintain a good quality of life. You know, it can be empowering to better the quality of your life, but it also does take effort, and it can be easy to fall into some sort of burnout with that, where maintaining that quality of life, you struggle to do so after a time. And then the no Daedalus part, it's kind of on the nose, I guess, because, Daedalus was Icarus's father, which a lot of these lyrics touch on the myth of Icarus, but also, Daedalus was Icarus's father, and my father died shortly before I turned 18, so it's sort of like I don't have that fatherly guidance. The sun brings the heat to enfeeble us. This is the first instance of the sun being mentioned in these lyrics, and obviously the sun, it's a metaphor that's in parallel to the sun and how it made Icarus's wings burn up, but also I guess I'm not necessarily talking about a literal sun. I'm sort of using it to talk about the light and the warmth that you get from all of your friends and family, that supporting light that is very warm and is a blanket of security for all the good things in your life. And yet, if we fast forward a little bit to the bridge, where the first line of that is, cursed to feel the sun burn me up. For that, it's like the heat, again, that warmth and love and support from your friends and family is so great. It can be, if you're lucky enough to, which I certainly am. And it's like, how can I return that favor? What is an ember to those radiant rays, sort of thing? That's how I feel, as just like a flicker against this giant flaming ball, which again is my friends and family. Yeah. I have sort of cleansed myself of social media for the most part. And you might be thinking, well, Reese, you've posted almost every single day since Jusant was released and in the lead up to it as well. And yeah, that's true, but also I basically make those posts, put them up, and then I don't touch those apps again for the rest of the day. And so the same is true for a lot of messages that I get from friends now, like in group chats and stuff, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, whatever my friends are messaging me on. Sometimes it'll be like a full week between my replies because I just don't find I have the battery for that sort of thing nowadays. Not because I don't love my friends and not because I don't want to engage with them, but I also enjoy time with myself and my mental health, preserving my mental health, that is. So engaging with social media to the level that I used to, I could see it wasn't sustainable. But I feel like I've kind of overcorrected now in that, about a week for me to reply. It's not great, I know. So if any of my friends are watching, I'm sorry. I guess the silver lining is, at least, is that when we catch up in person, there's that much more to talk about, hopefully. That's my reconciliation for it, at least. Anyway, back to the second verse. But I'm losing altitude and the waves are getting high again. I'm choosing fortitude with the usual solitude. Oh, that was almost a bit of foreshadowing just before, wasn't it? Yeah, I enjoy my alone time, but I guess you can have too much of a good thing sometimes. It can be several weeks that, apart from coming out to teach, which is my day job, outside of work, I will, just keep to myself at home, play some video games, do some writing, whatever, and not be as proactive as I could be in, organizing catch-ups and stuff. I choose solitude. And whilst the me time is good, yeah, I guess you can have too much of it sometimes and, being alone with your thoughts. Whereas when you do catch up with friends and you share the things that have been on your mind, it is a release. And sometimes I inadvertently deny that of me. And then in the second pre-chorus, I changed the line that was, I hate how cloudy it is up here, to I hate how cloudy it is down here. Again, losing altitude. It's like losing altitude. I guess I haven't been soaring as much as I thought, so much as I was more gliding. So yes, airborne, but gliding infers some degree of gradually descending. When we get to the second chorus, it gets extended with 4 extra lines, the classic double chorus sort of thing. And it goes, how can I be frowning when I'm 32 with so much more potential? The love I feel surrounding everyone but me says that I am essential. So when I wrote the song, I was 32 last year. I'm now 33. So I was already a year older by the time I finally released the song, but it's where I was at when I was 32, and I still carry a lot of that with me. I feel as though nowadays I am achieving more of my potential in a lot of areas because I've been working on things. Part of being 32 was when I got my diagnosis of autism and ADHD, to no surprise to any of my friends. But that was a revelation in and of itself, just to know it as actual fact. And then I've been doing ongoing psychology sessions to work on strategies to help me manage things and help achieve the things that I want to do more easily. And yeah, so I feel like I am achieving more of my potential day by day, but it's still a tug of war. It's still a back and forth. It's not absolute every day. I'm still unlearning 31 years of habits and ways of thinking and trying to progress out of that. And then the love I feel surrounding everyone but me says that I am essential. Yeah, it's easy to downplay your place in people's lives or in your community, your circle of friends. And yet, hopefully you're lucky enough that, a friend might tell you how much something you did, or even just your presence, how much that means to them. And, personally with me for teaching, when I see the growth with my students, and even when they might even tell me of the impact that I've had, it's very fulfilling. And so why aren't those positive thoughts ever present in the alone time? So now we're actually up to the bridge. So kind of teased this line already. Curse to feel the sun, burn me up, or tease me through the cracks in refraction. So again, I sort of explained with the sun, I'm using it as a metaphor to indicate the warmth and the love from family and friends, and feeling like maybe you can't match that energy, and thus by extension, maybe you're not deserving of it. And then the next two lines are worse to feel me go flying up, knowing how far I'll fall in abstraction. So it's kind of like the old saying, the bigger they are, the harder they'll fall. In this case, it's the higher you are, the harder you'll fall. Is there a point where we are too happy? Of course not, but a traumatized brain might think so. So yeah, you worry that I am in a good place in my life and I'm enjoying life and I'm happy. I'm really, really happy. But man, it's going to suck when this all comes crumbling down. It's going to hurt that much more once something goes wrong and things are not good. But honestly, you kind of need those things. Obviously, you don't want the worst sort of things to happen, but I definitely subscribe to the opinion that going through those hardships and hard to navigate things can really give you the extra appreciation for the things that are good. And then that brings us to the final lines. Curse to feel the sun, curse to be someone. It's just really ramming that point home about I'm really lucky to have this sun. Again, the love and warmth of my family and friends. But it's a lot to feel like I need to match up to. And then curse to be someone. It's a lot of energy to be someone. It's rewarding, again, to sort of work towards your goals and achieve things and share in that joy with your family and friends, sharing each other's successes. It's awesome, but it does require a lot of effort, a lot of time and effort, and it can be taxing. So yeah, hopefully that helps to shine some light onto my thinking behind a lot of the lyrics for Jusant. You know, obviously I touched a lot on the parallels to the Icarus myth, not so much burning up due to overconfidence, but maybe more due to a lack of confidence or feelings of unworthiness. And so why didn't I call the song Icarus or something to that effect? And I actually had a comment from someone on TikTok saying, should have been called Icarus. And yeah, I did briefly entertain that notion when I was trying to think of a final title for this song. But ultimately, I landed on the title Jusant because 6 months before I wrote this song, in January of 2025, my friend Scott, thanks Scott, gifted me the game Jusant on Steam for my birthday. And it was a great way to spend my summer holidays. I really enjoyed playing that game. A game that's just all climbing. I was a bit skeptical for like 2 seconds, but you know, as soon as you play it, it's like, oh, they've really made the climbing mechanics very engaging, and they of course get built upon as you progress. But also the art style is beautiful, the soundtrack is beautiful, and the story is really poignant. It has a bit of a message with regards to the environment and the climate, but it also touches on a lot of the human experience, I suppose. Since playing the game, I've picked up a few pieces of merch related to the game. I have the art book, which again, the art style is lovely. I have a mateship plushie, which actually reverses the roles. Normally you'd be this person, regular sized, wearing this ballast creature in your backpack, but you can see that's been reversed. It's now the human in the backpack, which is cute. And then yeah, just as beautiful as the art style and the story is the soundtrack. And this soundtrack I really adore. Even a full year and a half later, I'm still listening to this soundtrack pretty regularly. It's a very common soundtrack for my Minecraft playing. It's got beautiful pieces of music, and it did inspire the opening piano part of my song, as well as the sound design that I did in the verses. So the working title for the song was Jusant in C# minor, because, well, that's the key that it's in. And then when I wrote the lyrics, you know, again, I sort of entertained the idea of maybe calling it Icarus or something, but eventually I was just like, well, I talk about the waves and the tides a lot, so the term Jusant still works. I just dropped the mention of the key. So it went from Jusant in C# minor to just Jusant. Apologies for my French pronunciation. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this deeper dive into my thinking behind the lyrics and why the song is called Jusant. Thank you again to everyone who has streamed the song and shared it. It's been really lovely to see and feel the support the sun. I I guess if we're going to bring it back around to that. So whilst I may struggle to feel worthy of that support, I do appreciate it, and I will endeavor to keep showing up. And I have some music in the works that I hope you'll look forward to. It'll be a full album, not just a singular song. More on that soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye.